Hello everyone, thank you for joining me for Coffee and Card at Home. So we're on week 2 of using the Elegantly Said stamp set and the Elegant Tag Punch. And these are the cards that we've made this morning on Zoom. And we're going to be making these again using this really nice technique of overlapping different coloured inks for your background. So what you're going to need is you're going to need a C6 Highland Heather card base. So that's half an A4 sheet and then scored in half at 10.5 centimetres. Then I've got a piece of Highland Heather to go on the top, which has been cut down by 0.5 centimetres on each side, so it's 14.3 centimetres by 10 centimetres, I think. And then just a scrap of basic grey, which is big enough to fit into the tag punch. And that's all we need for those things. And then for our inks, we're going to be using Highland Heather and Whisper White craft ink. And then obviously a few adhesives and things and a little bit of ribbon to finish off. And I've just suddenly had a thought that I might need to grab a slightly different ribbon, because this beautiful ribbon that we've used, I've run out of that today, so I might have to switch to something else. So let's get started anyway. So I'm going to be using this corner stamp, but not as a corner, just used randomly as a pattern stamp, and this flower stamp, and then I've used the Wishing You a Wonderful Birthday. Make sure you can see that as well. So first of all, I'm just going to take my rectangle and we're going to start stamping first of all with our Highland Heather ink. So this is tone on tone stamping, where we use the same colour ink as card. Just turn that over so it's flat. And I'm using the flower stamp, and I'm just going to stamp randomly all over my card, filling in the gaps, turning the stamp as I go, going over the edge. So really keeping it nice and random, really. There we go. And then now I'm going to use my craft ink over the top with my other pattern stamp. Now you could actually just use the flower again, or you could use a different flower if you wanted to, but we're basically overlaying the images. Now this is done with craft ink, but you could also do this with embossing, using white embossing powder, that would look particularly lovely. Or if you've got any other inks like silver ink, that could work really well. Or just even using a different colour to the purple would look nice too. So we're just getting this on nice and randomly again, and as I say, turning the stamp regularly so you get a bit of a different pattern. And then whilst I've got my white ink there, I'm also going to stamp my sentiments. So I'm just going to pop that to the side. Now actually what I did earlier was I stamped on here and then cut it out, but actually I found that there was a little bit of a funny placement of my sentiment. So what I'm actually going to do this time is I'm going to cut it out first and then stamp on. I usually tend to do it the other way around, but occasionally it can work better this way around. And because my piece of card is a bit small, I'm just going to put a post-it note on the bottom so that I can hold on to it when it's in the punch. There we go, and then punch that out. So strong, these punches. And then we can just peel that a little bit off. Now we've got our punched shape. So now that I've got that, I can stamp onto it. And again, I'm using the white. Could use a darker colour like black if you wanted to, or Again, like say something like silver maybe. I'm just going to stamp that on there. There we go, that's worked a bit better for me with doing it that way around. Now, the two cards that I made earlier, I made them in a portrait version, but this time I think I might turn it around and do a landscape version. That's the good thing you can do about this card. So I'm going to take my card base, fold it in half and burnish my crease line. And then I'm going to stick my patterned piece on with just some Tombow. And then stick that on. And because you've kept your flower pattern quite random, it does work fine to turn it that way or that way, whichever way you'd prefer. So obviously now you can choose the placement of where you want your tag to go. And actually what I'm going to do, because I've run out of ribbon, is I think I might use a little bit of twine on this. So just bear with me a moment while I just find my twine. There we go. So on this one, what I did was I mounted it with dimensionals, and then I just tied a bow and attached that with a glue dot, and it kind of makes it look like it's attached to the top there. What I'm going to do with this though, before I actually attach it, because I haven't got any of that left, I'm going to take my silver twine. So this is a piece of twine from the Simply Elegant trim. And I'm just going to cut a piece off. And then I'm just going to tie it around my tag. So, I mean, this is obviously what this tag is intended for. I'm going to just try and make sure that's not going to go anywhere. So I'm going to double knot it. Okay, and just try and press my knot down a little bit so that it's going to stay in place. Then this tends to get a bit curly when it comes off the reel, so I'm just kind of doing this to try and straighten it out a little bit, just so that when I tie my bow it's not going to sort of twist in on itself, hopefully. Then I'm just going to make bunny ears with what is left. And try that again. A little bit fiddly. There we go. So just want to make that loop a bit smaller. So I'm just going to hold my knot and pull the end in. Try and see if I can twist it around that way, if it's going to want to go. Wants to curl up, which is not helpful. I might have to allow it to twist round, so I'm just going to take that one in a bit just to make it a bit smaller. It's a little tricky getting this to keep its shape with the bow. Obviously you could sit and fiddle with it for ages, but yeah, that's a bit better. And I'm just going to cut the ends off. I'm going to leave them a little bit long. I can always trim them more if I decide I want to. And then, just as I did with the other card, I'm going to put some dimensionals on the back to attach it to my card front. And then, because you've got this little end piece here that might kind of sag, I'm just going to put a mini dimensional on that one. There we go. So I'm just going to peel the backs off of these. And then I can just decide whereabouts I would like to have it this time. So we could go bottom corner, top, middle. I think I'm going to go bottom here. And then I didn't do this on my other ones, but I think what I might do is I might just put some silver gems on there just for a little bit of interest around on the card. I'm just going to stick them randomly, remembering that our odd numbers work best. I think just 3 on there is fine. And then I might actually just pop one on that little bit. Let's try that again. There we go. I think I'm happy with that now. So it's got a few little extra features, and obviously a different ribbon to the one that I did earlier, and also a different orientation, but you can see similar effect, and I think that works really, really well with the two coloured inks. So I hope you'll have a go at that. I will pop the things that I've used in the comments, so that you can see, if you want to replicate it yourself, what you will need to make it. And then next Monday I'll be on to week 3 using the same stamp set and punch, and then that will leave us with one more week after that for our month set of the Elegantly Said bundle, before we change to a new bundle for July. So thank you for joining me. I hope you enjoy having a go at making that card, and I shall see you again next week. Bye.